Good afternoon. Today we are going to present about assessing speaking, and we are considering Camila's school this time. We are Karina Jara, Javier Alvarez, Danai Anzac, and Camila Lopez.
So first, to set the context, we focus this time in Camila's school, which is Colegio Francisco de Miranda. It's located in Peñarolén. It's a 9th grade and with 17 students, and they are 14 to 15 years old. There is a wide variety of proficiency levels because there are students from A1 to students from B2. And it also happens with the learning styles because there are some kinesthetic learners, some other visual learners, and some other listener learners. They usually behave quite well, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So there is no problems with behavior in this case. And then, with the construct, our construct this time is the speaking production. So, what we want to evaluate is speaking. The approach we focus on this evaluation is the approach of construct-based approach, which is the same. We are trying to evaluate speaking production, and we focus our evaluation in that objective. We define speaking as an interactive process of constructing meaning that involves producing and receiving and processing information. So we thought that speaking as is producing and processing information is alienated with our task.
Regarding the learning objective, we have that students will be able to describe people orally. And the curricular framework states that students should be able to demonstrate knowledge and use of language in conversation, discussions, and presentations by, for example, identifying and describing people, occupations, and places, which is the function we ask students to perform in our task.
Then we have the instrument. We wanted to know if the students were or not progressing on their speaking skills. So we have created a test in which they have to put into practice everything that they have studied during the unit. This task will be the last one of the unit, so we decided to grade it with a mark. Therefore, this test is an achievement test because we are evaluating the whole process of learning of students. And it is also a summative test because we are grading it with a mark. And the criterion that we wanted to take into consideration is that students should be able to orally communicate in the target language on a real-life situation, so they can really communicate orally with other people.
Then we have the operationalization. Here the students should be able to describe specific information from a visual input. In this case, the visual input is an image. And here are the instructions. The instructions will be given orally to the students, but also supported with a worksheet, so they have clear the instructions in their heads. So, first of all, look at the following picture and describe what you see. Then you have 1 minute to prepare the answer. You have to describe the picture in 1 minute too. You have to mention at least 5 words from the vocabulary studied in class, and 3 prepositions of place that were also studied during the classes. And finally, you will be recorded while speaking. Here we have the worksheet that we are going to use. There are the instructions written, and there we have the picture that we are going to show to the students. We are going to show the same picture for all students, so they receive the same input. The picture shows culturally diverse students in a classroom with the teacher in front of them. They are all wearing different clothes, and there is a variety of objects that the students should describe. So we are expecting them to describe the clothes of their people, the objects around them, and the setting in which they are. In this case, the classroom. In this case, as we are using a picture as input, we are not involving other skills such as listening or reading. Therefore, it avoids contaminating the results of the test.
This test will be evaluated according to a rubric that we have developed. According to Sari Loma, analytic scales contain a number of criteria, usually from 3 to 5 points or criteria, each of which has description at the different levels of the scale. So, for example, in fluency we have excellent, very good, good or poor. Grammar, excellent, very good, good and poor. And so the performance will be evaluated according to this rubric. And moreover, she states that in this case it will be avoid the subjective interpretations of each teacher or from the teacher. Then we have reliability. Bear in mind that we are to record students according to where it will be useful for the reliability process, or it will be achieve reliability, because we can focus on details that we didn't notice before when we were listening to the performance of students. Besides, internal reliability is achieved due to the test is exclusively designed to evaluate speaking skills and not other skills. So, for example, by showing them only one image that they have to describe, they won't be using another skill such as writing or reading.
The next one is validity, and the author in her text Assessing Speaking defines validity as the meaningfulness of the scores. There are different aspects to take into consideration. One of them is validity of the score, which in this case is grounded on giving learners feedback about their own speaking skills to help them to learn more, and therefore the test is being used for the right purpose. Another factor is the aim, and this test is intended to assess language forms such as grammar, pronunciation, fluency, among others, which are part of the rubric which we will assess with. And according to the concept of content related, students should perform adequately, since the test was created considering the curricular aims. However, the test was not implemented, so these are only inferences.
So at the end, it's aligned with all the features that it has. Contract validity, assess what it's supposed to assess. It minimizes the other skills, so we avoid contamination. It's related with the language definition of that we gave of speaking, and it's construct related. We are assessing speaking production. Then we have authenticity.
Regarding authenticity, the resources used states that Sara Lumi states that when using images, the tester know what to answer and what the test taker expects from them. So, as they do not have to interact with anyone, these tests or tasks wouldn't be as genuine as real-life situations. However, considering that all students have different proficiency level, asking them to interact, it would affect their results because they do not have the same level to do it.
Then we have interactiveness. We know that with interactiveness, we refer to how the test engages the students. And for this, to know if the test actually engages the students, we need to consider 3 factors. First of all, we have the affective schemata. Regarding affective schemata, this test engages the students since the image shows a familiar setting for them as the classroom is. The image also shows students of their same age approximately. Therefore, the students that take the test can feel more represented, and they can also feel more capable of describing a setting they already know. In this case, then we have the language ability, which is the speaking production. And finally, the topical knowledge, which is classroom environment, and that we think that is topical knowledge that is contextualized for the students because they already know and they are in the classroom every day.
Then we have the impact. Of course, it's in a micro level since it only affects individuals, in this case the teacher and students. Since it's at the middle of the semester, it will give an overview for students on how they are doing while speaking. And it also will give a picture of the students for the teacher to improve their practice and to create new activities or keep on improving speaking in the second unit. So the washback will be the feedback that the teacher will give to the students for them to improve their skills. Then we have the practicality, and we think that we achieve practicality since we have all resources. We have the classroom and implements inside the classroom. We have all materials needed, the worksheets and the video. We have the device to record the audio from the test, and we also have the time. We have time for planning the activity, the test, so it will take like 2 hours to plan the test. Then we have 2 pedagogical hours to carry out the test, because since they are only 17 students, it will take like an hour or so to for them to perform the test. And then finally 2 to 3 hours to check and grade the tests.
As final conclusions, after analyzing our test, we have concluded that it is useful for the purposes that we have created this test, which is to assess speaking skills. Besides, describing people in a classroom helps students to relate with the content, so it will be easier for them to describe the people who are there, and it also will make students feel more comfortable while performing. Besides, by using a rubric, will help the test takers to evaluate students with an objective point of view and not guide their decisions with subjective factors. And also, it is important to remark that this test was modified in order to be applied to all the students in the classroom and not only for a few. So it will be useful for all the proficiency levels inside of the classroom, from AB to B2. So that was our presentation.
And these are the references.
Thank you.
Thanks.